Show your friends you support independent comics while showing the world who you back in the fight against the swarm with the brand new Cyber t-shirt from Crypto Fashion and Comic Artist Pro Secret. Sizes come in small to 5XL, and take your choice of colors between navy blue, white, and black. And if you haven't yet, go ahead and order the Fandom Menace, Go Get Daddy's Belt, Tico, and Soilo t-shirts as well. Link is below in the description. You're going to look great. People love these shirts. They fit wonderfully. Thank you very much. Dear Ethan, Kathleen Kennedy and Bob Iger definitely know who you are.
Hello.
Hey everyone, alright, welcome to Comic Artist Pro Secrets. My name is Ethan Van Sciver. I am a comic book artist for 25 years. I am the creator of Cyberfrog Blood Honey, the smash hit Indiegogo campaign for my new comic book. It's going on right now. If you'd like to buy a copy of that, the link is in the description below. I'd appreciate it. Illustrator of Jordan B. Peterson's 12 Rules for Life. That's me, and also a great big Star Wars fan. Hey Graham McMillan, how you doing, buddy? Graham McMillan is a writer. He's a comics journalist. He used to work for the garbage tier. I mean, the worst of the garbage tier comics websites, Comics Alliance. It's no longer here. It's defunct, and all of its component parts are orbiting about Twitter, complaining about social justice and calling people Nazis. Graham has found employment at The Hollywood Reporter, and now he's working for the writer for the Wired, Wired.com. Is that Wired.com there? And it's nice to see him there now. It's great that Graham has this agenda here. You know, I always look at this Cantina talk from the Cantina. Cantinas are the Cantina is where all the weirdos hang out, and also Han Solo, and also Chewbacca. No droids allowed, by the way. Get out of here. We don't serve their kind in here. And did Luke Skywalker stand up for his droid? No, he said, no, "Go outside. We don't." So that was a weird moment there. If you watch that again, that didn't age well. No, Kathleen Kennedy isn't leaving Lucasfilm, says Graham. It sounds like he's got some inside information. Does he? No, he's Graham McMillan. He doesn't know anything, and we're going to see that in a second. It's absolutely astonishing when you wake up in the morning and you look at the Star Wars news and you're just like, oh my gosh, these people are actually, they found a way to monetize talking to me. Now, I found a way to monetize their harassment of conservatives. I mean, that's a pretty cool thing. You know, they can pick on Republicans in comics, and they can, you know, harass YouTube channels like my own, call us Comicsgate, blah blah blah. We end up getting paid for that in a weird way. People come and support us, so we've monetized them, and on a smaller scale, they have found a way to monetize arguing with me. Because Graham could have sent this in an email to me, but instead he realized that he could just write a baseless article and get paid for it. So Graham, cheers. That's capitalism at work, buddy. I see you. I see you. Okay? All right. Yeah, no, he says. No, Kathleen Kennedy isn't leaving Lucasfilm. Now, this is alarming to me. I have pretty good information that Kathleen Kennedy was fired shortly after it was clear that Solo was going to be an even bigger disaster. I mean, they hoped that they'd be able to pull it out. No. They didn't. It's the first Star Wars film to ever lose money. Kathleen Kennedy has a long history of employing great directors and then firing them, either before they get started or almost when they've almost completed the film. In the case of Solo, she is unsteady. She is not somebody who has very much creativity in her, and she has run this franchise into the ground. She is out of here. She will be announcing her replacement. She's going to step down gracefully in September and announce her replacement. We believe it's Kiri Hart. This is the information I have. Let's find out the information that Graham McMillan has. Shall we? Look at her with her Lucasfilm story group. Which one's Pablo Hidalgo? The one with the tummy here, I would guess. Stick a fork in it. Solo, a Star Wars story, is pretty much officially a flop. Yes, it is. Thank you, Fandom Menace. We made that happen. Its performance hasn't improved since its unimpressive debut and shows no sign of getting a boost. Moreover, judging from the fallout, the movie had more of an impact amongst conspiracy theorists than anyone else. Want proof? Read on. Okay, that's me. I'm the conspiracy theorist here. Smelling conspiracy and everything. Smelling conspiracy in Graham McMillan being paid to write this article. Yeah, interesting. Is Kathleen Kennedy leaving Lucasfilm? The source, random. I am not. I am no rando. I am Ethan Van Sciver. This is Comic Artist Pro Secrets. We are the fastest growing Star Wars channel on YouTube and the most beloved. We ain't rando. There are plenty of randos out there, but this is not the channel. We are online. We are gossip mongers. We confess. We do hear things and we pass it along. Probability of accuracy. He says not even slightly true. Not even slightly true. What, Graham, what are you going to say when it turns out to be entirely true? What are you going to say? The real deal. Let's start with something that's quite clearly wishful thinking on the part of a number of Star Wars fans. And it is. Guys, when you wish upon your Uncle Ethan, we'll make it come true for you. For the last couple of weeks, there have been rumors that Kathleen Kennedy is stepping down as Lucasfilm president. No, she's been fired. The rumors are that she is going to be allowed to have the appearance of stepping down in September, with Marvel's Kevin Feige being named as the potential replacement. There we go, Graham. This is positively bleeding Coolian. This is Richard Johnstonian in its deceit here, because now you can say that this is completely untrue, that these rumors are completely unfounded. It is complete and utter banthawash. You're right, because nobody is saying that nobody is saying Kevin Feige is going to be Kathleen Kennedy's replacement. Nobody. All we said was, wouldn't that be great? Wouldn't that be great if Kevin Feige, somebody who's been able to lead the MCU to glory like nobody has ever seen since George Lucas ran Star Wars, wouldn't it be great if he came over and took over the reins of Star Wars at Lucasfilm and actually made these movies successful again? It would be great, but he's not going to. He's happy where he is. I think at this point we're expecting Kiri Hart to be appointed, which is going to be even worse than Kathleen Kennedy. That's fine. We'll ride that out too. We're hoping for Dave Filoni. We'll see about that. We'll see. That would actually make everyone happy, but we're not looking to be made happy from these people. We don't think that they are constitutionally able to make their own fandom happy. This, to be blunt, he says, is complete and utter banthawash. Yes, it is. Thanks for the weird little bit of gaslighting here. We talk about gaslighting. Gaslighting is when you try to make your audience, who is accurately sniffing out something that's real, think that they're crazy. That's called gaslighting, and this is a gaslighting technique that he used here. We catch these guys. You don't have to worry. Your Uncle Ethan is here. This is Comic Artist Pro Secrets. We pick through this, we parse these articles, and I'll let you know exactly how they're lying to you and why and for what reason. Look, we're trying to keep it clean and on topic, he says, adding a little humorous little aside, a little wink after his lie and his attempt to manipulate you. Yes, Solo, a Star Wars story, underperformed. Well, no, it didn't, actually. It bombed. It didn't underperform. It didn't just not meet expectations. It wasn't just a mild disappointment. It lost $80 million and counting. That's just what we know about. I think it lost much, much more, because they are not taking into account whatever finishing funds Ron Howard required in order to make that movie palatable to Kathleen Kennedy, another reason why she was fired. So $80 million is not underperforming, it is crashing into the mountain. And he says, but that's just one failure. After 3 of the most successful movies in recent memory, this again is positively a bleeding Coolian, Richard Johnstonian levels of deceit. The first movie started out great. You had the fans' goodwill. The second movie halved it. Cut in half. That is The Prophets of The Last Jedi, which is widely considered to be one of the worst Star Wars movies ever made. It is the worst Star Wars movie ever made. It is reviled by fans, hailed by critics for some reason. I wonder why. Reviled by fans to the degree that the Rotten Tomatoes score is down in the 40s, I think. In the 40s, and Disney, from what we saw yesterday on my live stream, seems to have hired people to go in and give it bizarre 5-star reviews. Fake 5-star reviews to try to bump up that score a little bit. We know that Kennedy is meeting with her Lucasfilm story group up in the Bay Area. They are panicked. They are sitting there discussing. It's almost like Hitler's bunker. They're all trying to figure out what to do as the soldiers of justice descend upon them. We are the soldiers of justice. Are we the Russians? No, we're not the Russians. So the metaphor, the analogy isn't perfect, but we are soldiers of justice. As we converge on them, they are panicked and they are trying to figure out ways to make this seem better than it is. look at this. This is just crazy. So all three of these movies have descended. They're getting worse and worse. They're losing more and more money. And he says, and Solo had extenuating circumstances, namely losing its original director. They didn't lose the original director. It's not like he got lost in the washing machine. It's not as though he fell out of someone's pocket. He was fired. He was fired by Kathleen Kennedy. Oh, they were. I'm sorry. It's actually two directors. Chris Miller and is it Phil Miller? No, I'm getting confused. Chris Miller and Phil Lord were fired by Kathleen Kennedy when they finished 85% of the movie. They were given this ridiculous script. First of all, the script was meant to be written by Lawrence Kasdan of Empire Strikes Back fame. He ponied it off to his son John, who wrote a ridiculous social justice warrior script, which Lord and Miller saw and turned into a comedy. What else are you going to do with a social justice script, essentially? Turned into a comedy. Kathleen Kennedy, no likey. She fired them. She brought in Ron Howard, gave him all kinds of money to take that film and turn it into what it is today, which is a box office failure. It's not Ron Howard's fault. He did a fine job. So yeah, that was all her fault. And by the way, she's got a history of firing directors. She hires directors and fires them publicly. And it's embarrassing. She leaves behind a lot of bitterness all around her, and a lot of bad press. Yeah, it forced a reshoot of pretty much the entire movie. Well, it did. That's what happens when you fire the director. But it could have just been finished. Instead, Ron Howard came in, wanted more money to completely reshoot a movie that was 85% completed. The idea that Kennedy would be forced to step down after that makes sense, Graham. It makes sense. It's completely logical. Or that fans need to speak up to save her job is ridiculous and betrays a particular myopia that fandom engenders. The idea that fans know best and have the inside scoop because they love the property so much. Or because we're paying attention. Yeah, we're the ones who are paying for these movies to exist, and they're not listening. Kennedy's position, at least in the eyes of the parent company Disney, is pretty much secure. Graham, do you know that for a fact? Do you work for Disney? Do you have people over at Disney that are telling you this? I don't understand. Cite evidence. Cite sources. If she does step down for whatever reason, something that's pretty unlikely, it'll likely be a personal decision that has absolutely nothing to do with pressure from corporate overlords. That's hard to say. Corporate overlords. You want to say corporate overlords. It'll likely be okay, so if she does step down for whatever reason, if she does happen to step down in September for whatever reason, completely coincidentally, backing up everything that Comic Artist Pro Secrets has been saying, it'll just be, it's just a personal decision. Has nothing to do with being fired by corporate overlords who don't really care about losing $80 million, who don't really care if the franchise that they spent $5.04 billion acquiring from George Lucas makes money or loses money. It all comes out the same in the wash. After all, they do have Pixar. They do have the MCU. They have all of these other successful, revenue streams. So who cares if Star Wars loses money, right? Wrong, Graham. Grow up. She's been fired, and she will announce that she is stepping down. They're going to allow her dignity as she leaves Lucasfilm in September. She will say it's for personal reasons, but that's just that's the way it works. By the way, I love that you linked here to the Dork Side of the Force. I'm not going to click this. It's going to be porn. He linked this to the Dork Side of the Force website, which is, according to my list of garbage tier websites, the very worst. Dork Side of the Force. It is quadruple underlined, as you can see there, angrily. Worst website, and he decides to get the information that he's going to argue with from Dork Side of the Force. So brilliant job, Graham, but we're way ahead of you. And then just real quick, Kelly Marie Tran leaves Instagram likely because of trolls. Graham is similarly clueless and fact-free as he excretes his opinion here. The source, trans, Instagram, Facebook, probability of accuracy. It's complicated, but this seems to essentially be true. Seems to you, but there is no fact. Again, presumably due to social media, but she hasn't spoken about her reasoning. She did, in fact, delete her Instagram posts. That's what happens when you delete your Instagram. When you deactivate your Instagram, your posts go with them. That's just the way it works. And they come back when you reactivate your account. But I mean, it's not as though you deactivate your account or walk away from it and what you've left on Instagram stays there forever. That is a red herring. This right here, down with Disney's treatment of franchises and fanboys, has widely been debunked at this point as the effort of an alt-left troll who does run a pro-Disney SJW website, actually a bunch of them. He is a guy who I have tangled with a few times on Twitter. He now has me blocked. But this is him. And how do you know that? Because he uses the buzzwords that SJWs use when they are denigrating the critics of Star Wars. They say things like, normal people don't call themselves fanboys. We call ourselves fans. Hey, we're your fans. We don't say, hey, we're your fanboys. That's not what people say about themselves. They don't self-apply that. That is what other people say to denigrate fans. They say, you're a bunch of fanboys. So this is weird. And then also using the word feminazi to describe one's criticism of Kathleen Kennedy. Also, even though it's a little less egregious, also a little odd, this right here kills me. Bring back the straight white male hero. Bring back the straight white male hero that isn't manufactured by a corrupt corporation like Disney. This again, SJW language. They think that this is what we're concerned with. We want straight white male heroes. And even if we did, that we would just come right out and say so is cartoonish. It's something out of a cartoon. It is something out of the mind of the fool who created this sock puppet account with which to attack you guys. He has taken credit. He has taken credit for Kelly Marie Tran taking down her Instagram account, which basically nobody understands why she did it. In truth, there is no evidence. This guy stands up and says, "It was me. I did it." Trans co-star John Boyega has come forward to call for an end to the harassment. He's also told the fans that he doesn't care what they think, and so has Last Jedi director Rian Johnson, who is widely considered to be the worst person ever associated with Star Wars, with his big circular head. There you go. The rest of the stuff here is irrelevant and not very interesting. It has to do with video games. But Graham, strike one, strike two, strike three. This is a terrible article, dude. It's a terrible article. This is asserting an argument without any evidence, without any proof, and we might be conspiracy theorists. I think that's that's accurate in some cases. We do try to pull together threads, disparate threads from all of the articles that we read, and I read them all. Of course I read your article because I read all the articles that come out in the morning just to stay in touch, just to stay in tune with what's going on with Star Wars. And I put together a narrative that I believe is based on everything that I know, having worked in entertainment for 25 years, the way things operate, the way things work. Does that make me a conspiracy theorist? Yeah, probably. That's cool. But still, JFK was killed by Lee Harvey Oswald, and we did land on the moon, and Kathleen Kennedy has been fired from Lucasfilm. Count on it. Hey, alright, this is the point of the show where we stop and just salute everyone. My sister's here, Jenna. So Jenna, I want to just explain to you, these people on this screen right here, they're big supporters of this channel and everything that we do. They like our videos. Aww. They do. They share the videos. They've subscribed. They've clicked there's a bell icon.
Where's my name? I don't even see my name.
You haven't given me any money, Jenna, in so long, and that's the problem. But if you would, I'd put your name up there, and that would be terrific.
Everything on Facebook. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll give you some money.
So thank you to my Patreon backers. Thank you to everyone who has bought a t-shirt or a baseball cap. Thank you to everyone who has subscribed to the channel, told others about it. Thanks to people who have supported Cyberfrog Blood Honey. You all are at the heart of this. We owe you our eternal thanks, right?
Oh, yeah, that's really nice.
It is, yeah.
Really nice.
Well, they're good people. They deserve it. These people definitely deserve a little consideration. So thank you very much, everyone, and I will see you in another video tomorrow.
Bye.
Hello, potential Indiegogo backers. Hello, friends. My name is Ethan Van Sciver. I'm a comic book creator who worked for 20 years for Marvel and DC Comics on books like Green Lantern, Flash, Superman, Batman, and X-Men. But before that, I had a comic book called Cyberfrog. Now, Cyberfrog lasted from 1993 to 1998, and then it stopped when I went to go work for DC Comics. Now I want to tell the story of where Cyberfrog has been for the last 20 years. I want to write, pencil, ink a book called Cyberfrog Blood Honey that tells the story of gigantic alien hornets that come to Earth and conquer it sending Cyberfrog into deep hibernation, where he emerges now in the year 2018 into a completely alternate reality, a new world where these hornets have taken over, devastated humanity, using human skin to make gigantic wasp hives, and harvesting human blood to make honey to feed their young. Very few humans still exist. But it's up to Cyberfrog to save what's left of humanity and turn back the damage that's been done by these wasps with his brother Salamandroid and his friend Heather Swain. I want you to help me do this. We're going to get colors by Kyle Ritter. He's a fantastic colorist, and he's going to make this book sing. I'd like this to be a 48-page one-shot prestige format, part 1 of 4. So I'm asking you to help me launch the very first Cyberfrog Blood Honey epic graphic novel. Are you in? Will you help me? I hope so. Let's get this frog jumping again. Hey, want to follow me on Twitter? Okay, cool. I'm at Ethan Van Sciver. Talk to you there.